Happy Revenge of the 5th, everyone. Welcome to the Star Wars holiday. So today we are taking a look at Giulio Cesare. So we're looking at Revenge of the Cesare today. This is the Tier 5 Premium Italian battleship. You cannot get this ship anymore unless you whale on super containers, whale on Santa containers, and then get lucky in a super container. It's been removed from sale because it's extremely overpowered. Now, I have basically 1,000,000 XP in this thing. Now, let's go to my win rate. I have a 72% win rate in this ship. I have practically purple stats in this ship. So, Unicum stats in this ship. Because one, I play it too much, and two, I know how to play this ship. The only ships I fear in this ship are carriers and another Giulio Cesare. And what I mean by another Giulio Cesare, I mean a good Giulio Cesare player. It's the good ones that I worry about because they know how to fight me. When you're a Unicum Giulio player and you find another Giulio player that matches your skill, it's going to be a lot harder. But if you fight a lesser Giulio player, you can just run circles around him. But let's get into it, okay? Without a contributor flag, 5% to credits, 55 to ship XP, 65 to commander XP, and then with a clan, you get 100% to free XP. So, not much. Armor-wise, she gets 19mm bow. She gets 110 4-inch plating, and then it goes all. So she gets 100. So unlike most ships where it's just 19mm, she gets a nice 110 to 130mm armor right here. Same on both sides, and then she gets 130mm belt armor, which extends along most of her side of her ship, so you can bounce a lot of shells. Then she gets basically 185 to basically 110 on her aft end armor, and then that slim 19mm armor right there. So she is extremely tanky when played right. She can bounce, practically every battleship you'll face, if you can bounce it on this belt armor right here. So she is extremely tanky. Now, armor turret wise, this will also come into effect. 240 on the front, 240 on the sides, and then 220 on the very back, and then 140 on the top. I don't run this battery module because I rarely ever get my batteries knocked out. I might get them, incapacitated, but they rarely ever get knocked out. Now, survivability-wise, she is on the low side at 45,500 with a 30% torpedo reduction. So her health pool is on the low side compared to others that have around 4,000 to 5,000 more health than she does. So she is on the low side. Now, armor turret-wise, she gets 10 320mm guns, 2 and 3 and 2. So basically 4 turrets, 2 turrets of 3, 2 turrets of 2. Evenly distributed throughout her ship. Okay? And she gets a 30-second reload time with a 12-second switch time, which can be enhanced if you have Luigi Sanzanetti, which I recommend running him on there. Now, main battery dispersion 210, 16.4 range, which is pretty bad, but if you have Sanzanetti, one kill jumps it up to about 18 kilometers. Max HE damage is 4,800 with a 35% chance of fire, 55mm armor penetration with 380 shell velocity. Max AP damage 9,700 with 830 sec velocity. So decent velocity guns. They're not really floating. Unless you're at long ranges, then it becomes a little bit more difficult. But, basically her secondary is nothing to really speak of. She gets 4 of these 100 millimeter guns, and then 6 of these another 120 millimeter guns. So not much for secondary. Basically her weak points are her anti-sub and her anti-aircraft. Now most battleships at tier 6 get about a 6 kilometer max range on their depth charge. Giulio gets 4 kilometers. That's suicide range for a ship facing a sub. And you can't fight subs with a 4 kilometer. You need at least 6 kilometer at tier 5 to fight. So you are at a significant disadvantage. And the reason she has that is due to balance purposes. Because if she had a 6, she'd be extremely overpowered against subs too. Or could fight them at least. Now, subs will be a main enemy of you now that they're in the game. So you have to be aware that subs can kill you and destroy you. AA, again, nothing to be honorably mentioned. She gets 8 dual 20 millimeter guns, 6 dual 37 millimeter guns, and 4 times 2 100 millimeter guns. So basically crap. Continuous AA 134, unless they get caught in your AA explosions, which is 930, but the AA range 4.6. So basically, CVs can just drop you at will, and you won't feel anything. Won't do anything to them. So subs and CVs are your worst enemies. Now, with the speed flag, she does 28 knots, 27 stock. With brisk, she can do it almost 30. With speed flag, 30 knots. Turning circle, 640, so very respectable. Rudder shift, it's a little long, but she's very maneuverable. So 13 seconds, very decent for the first ship of her caliber. Full build, inner concealment wise, is 12 kilometers, so very stealthy, very able to fight. Now, again, like I said, she has no AA, so I put Auxiliary Armaments 1 for AA survivability and secondary batteries, because you never know when you'll need them. And then I do Damage Control Mod 1, and then Aiming Systems 1. With the full build, she gets 5 heal, so she is fairly tanky when you fully build into it. Okay? Now, exterior-wise, she doesn't get any alternative camo, so this is what her stock camo looks like. It's a very beautiful camo. Then you get the classic, Italian bow with the red and white stripes, which I think is very lovely. Now, for commander-wise, since I run the Luigi Sanzanetti, again, I recommend this one, or Far Reach, because when you get a kill, you get an 8% range increase. Then if you get Confederate, which is usually happens in a good Giulio player, 15% to your reload. So that does go down. Now, this is how I run my Giulio. Gun feeder, emergency repair specialist, grease the gears, brisk, adrenaline rush, emergency repair expert, concealment expert, and fire prevention. So a pure, basically, survivability build, basically, for the Giulio, to make your live longer. And that's how you want to run the Giulio. If you're running it any other way, it's not really optimized. Because you would think, oh, why take brisk and not take, priority target? Well, I used to run priority target, but I found that ever since I put brisk on it, this ship becomes so much more powerful. You can get into positions faster, you can get out of positions faster when you're dark, and you can basically be a much more high menace. Now, the rapid fire talent and the far reach are basically the bread and butter of running Sanzanetti. You might be lucky enough to get concealed reserves, but that's 100 main battery hits. You're going to be fighting, that's a lot of fire you're putting out. But I mean, it's mainly these two that you're wanting. But let's get into that replay version, and I'll show you how to play the Giulio Cesare. Hello, and welcome to, this is Lord Holland's Giulio Cesare Unicum Guide. Now, I have pure purple stats in my Giulio Cesare. I know how to play this thing. Now, I'm divvied up, and this demonstrates a lot of the difficulties the Cesare has to deal with. subs and carriers. It does not have great AA at all. So that's the weak point of the Cesare, is subs and CVs and being focused fire. If you can overcome that in a Cesare, then there is absolutely nothing you can't overcome. This thing is a monster. There was a reason the ship was removed. A reason. Absolutely. I'm going to show you exactly why this ship was removed. Now, any good Cesare player will have Luigi Sanzanetti on him, as you can see by the little flag pinned. He is critical. If you have him on the Giulio Cesare, you've basically magnified the Giulio strength 15 times, because just getting one kill and then getting Confederate, you're basically destroying any. But even just getting a kill in this thing makes your range go up. The stock range is on Cesare is 16 kilometers. That goes up to around 17, 18 with Sanzanetti. That ship becomes even more deadly. Now, the reason I chose this one is because, one, I have to deal with 2 subs, and I got to deal with 2 carriers, a Burn and a Ryujo. 2 carriers that the Giulio does not do really well against. And you'll see how I deal with it. Now, this should have been an easy kill, but even I missed my shots. But the dispersion, still pretty good. Now, of course, I'm going straight into A because I know that there's not much I gotta back up my sub player and the tier 5. So I've gotta back these 2 up. And again, either this Marblehead knew what he was doing, or he was just real lucky. But you see, I see that he's already turning, and I'm just like, okay, wait, just wait. Because he's going to have to commit at some point. Yeah, I thought he was going to turn, and I really overestimated that.
All stations, concentrate fire on the target.
And there's the sub ping. And the weak point of the Giulio is also another thing. Her anti-sub ability has only a 4-kilometer range. So she is very vulnerable to subs, like extremely vulnerable. And I get a nice lucky dodger. I don't know how, but I do. And yes, I am facing a New Mexico, which really should have killed me, but I mean, this is low tiers. Now, look at the dispersion coming out of those guns. Beautiful dispersion. But the Marblehead just turns in just slightly, but I still get 5 shells and a Citadel for 17,000 damage. And that Marblehead's health is gone. He basically has to run away now. Now, I didn't even notice I knew we had a kamikaze, but I didn't even know our kamikaze died, you know, so fast. And, you know, it doesn't look good. I mean, we've lost 2 cruisers and our overpowered DD. So, it sucks. And this match was a little bit hairy at times. And right there, I do get the kill.
Enemy cruiser foundered.
And my Sanzanetti skill kicks in. And I go up to almost 17.7 now. Now, that's a pretty big increase for your Giulio Cesare. That's why you need it on the Giulio, because 1 kill makes your range go that much, and you have that much more hitting power. Now, Giulio, again, does not thrive against CVs, subs, or focus fire. If you can focus a Giulio down, really get that focus fire on it, it dies really quickly because it can't sustain. The strength of a Giulio is its ability to go dark, load, and reshoot. It needs that ability to go back and forth. And right there, tier 6 ship, almost 19,000 damage on it. That's why this thing was removed. It punishes every ship it faces. Now, I am being pinged, and I know there's a sub, and I can't do anything against this guy. I have have to run. There's nothing I can do.
Torpedoes to starboard.
Teammate, I need your support.
And I got lucky. Like, he is really trying to kill me. He is, and that is the U-69. He is really trying to go after me. And again, you know, I wouldn't have thought I could kill that guy, but I mean, still, 2,700, not bad. Now, he shot HE at
The
me.
ship is on fire.
I don't know why Fuso was shooting HE. I guess he was trying to go for the subs or the DDs.
All stations reporting the position of.
Oh, do you see right now? I mean, we're up 4 to, we're down 4 ships to 5. So we're in the lead. But they have the ability to push right into B. And you see now the burn is coming for me with AP bombs. Smart, but the burn AP bombs dropped so wonky that if that had been like a Ryujo, it would have killed me.
Torpedoes astern.
And it would have hurt. But it didn't. Now, if you're in a burn and you see a Giulio, I'll give you a tip. Go use your skip bombers. The Giulio can't do nothing against the skip bombers. That's just what it is. And you see, yes, he did get some good hits on me, but for what, 5,000? It's not a huge amount. And I have to go protect our burn because, well, he's being focused by the Derflinger and the Echelon, or Cachalot. Now see, look at this Derflinger's health. Another 12,000. His health basically evaporates. And the CV looks like he's going after again. And the Udin's over there. Oh, I guess that was the Udin, not the U-69. The U-69 is like in the middle somewhere. And our New Mexico picks up the Derflinger. And I'm going in because I'm thinking, okay, I got some health. I can go for the sub now. But that sub can literally just, you know, like you said, as most people know, subs can literally just stay undetected and ping you. And the Giulio, with its only 4-kilometer sub thing, and having most ships at that tier having like
Torpedoes dead ahead.
6, it really hurts. Now, right there, I lose about 40-some thousand health, or 20,000 health. That's when I realized that I can't fight this guy. This sub can just ping me to death. Now, I asked my burn to spot because I know I can kill this CV. Or supposedly kill the CV. I just couldn't get the Citadel.
Enemy submarine in sight.
Now, I do get lucky, and I drop my... He is in my anti-sub range.
We spotted an enemy submarine.
I just get a splash damage and a fire, so it's not much. And it's at this point that I have to run. And I can imagine this is why people hate submarines. I mean, what are you gonna do against this? Especially, he can just ping you, but again, he has to surface because he knows he's basically being hit by me. So,
Torpedoes astern.
yeah. But his ping runs out because...
Torpedoes astern.
So I'm able to dodge these 2 torps. And you see, he did try to ping me right there, but he missed. Again, you have the Ryujo coming in here right now. That's why it hurts. Ryujo, again, Ryujo is like one of the worst carriers that Giulio can face, because you saw how it took me down like 6,000 health. Now, a really good Giulio player could have, well, killed me. So I have no choice but to run away from the sub, because I can't fight. I have to wait for my heals to come back up. And you think, okay, you know, he's gonna die. He's only at 65. He's only at 7,000 damage and going down.
Torpedoes astern. Torpedoes astern.
I get lucky and I'm able to outturn those torps. Now you see the U-69 is in the middle. We do lose our Eagle to our Eagle and our New Mexico, so it's 5-4 now. And I can't fight this Echelon, so I know the U's very low. And I can kill the Kiev, so I have to go straight in. I have to go into the channel. Is it gutsy? Very gutsy. But I have no choice. And again, you got the Ryujo coming on back with his AP bombers. Again, the one thing that I really fear. Now, I'm fortunate that our Burn did drop a fighter and was able to basically knock out those planes, which really saved me. Again, this sub really messed up. Really messed up. And we get shoulder to shoulder right there. And I get a solid direct hit on that sub. That sub basically has no health left now. Right? He's at 290. And my depth charge is almost back up. He's going down. And I secondary him with my depth. And I try to get a double strike on that Kia, but I just can't. But it's whatever. But the fact is, I'm still alive. Now, if I had had probably a 6K hit, I could have had that Keshelot easily. But our burn automatic depth charge basically knocks out the Keshelot. And the Kiev's basically all alone now. So it's a pretty easy, you know, match at this point. And yes, the Ryujo is coming on me. But it's like, eh. At this range, it's going to be very tough for him to get his torps on. Like, see, I'm just going to go right past him. There's nothing he can do. And I've got the Ark Royal right behind me, giving me hard air support. So, I'm safe. So, it's literally, in a few minutes, we basically knocked out their team, and it's just the Ryujo left. And he's literally right over there on the H-line, right in those islands. Now he's basically going to give up and just charge in on us. And you'll see right here how strong this ship becomes. Watch, okay, he's at 39,000. I get 13,000 and my Confederate goes off. I go down from 26 seconds to a 22 second. The Burn's coming in. He's going to, of course, you know, Burn can Citadel the Ryujo. We got strike, and I pick up the Ryujo.
You gonna play Collins?